Look up tonight, and you'll see thousands of suns scattered across the dark. Each one might host its own planets. Some of those planets might host their own oceans, their own storms, their own quiet forms of life evolving in the shadows. It feels obvious that somewhere out there, something is looking back at you. But the real answer might be far stranger. You could be staring at the loneliest sky in the universe. In 1950, physicist Enrico Fermi sat down to lunch with three colleagues and asked a simple question. If the universe is so vast and so old, where is everybody? The math seemed to demand company, billions of stars, billions of years, and yet no signal, no visitor, no proof of anyone else at all. Why would a universe built for abundance produce nothing but you? 11 years later, astronomer Frank Drake tried to put a number on it. He built an equation. Multiply the rate of star formation by the fraction of stars with planets. Multiply that by the fraction of planets that could support life, then by the fraction where life actually evolves, then by the fraction that develops intelligence, then by the fraction that learns to reach across the stars. Drake's own estimate suggested the galaxy should be humming with company, thousands of voices scattered through the dark, waiting to be heard. But every variable in that equation was a guess, and a guess can just as easily collapse toward zero. That's where the story turns strange. In a book published in 2000, paleontologist Peter Ward and astronomer Donald Brownlee made an argument the public didn't want to hear. Complex life, they said, isn't a guaranteed outcome of biology. It's an accident stacked on top of other accidents. Earth needed a moon large enough to stabilize its tilt, keeping its seasons mild instead of chaotic. It needed a molten iron core, spinning fast enough to generate a magnetic field that deflects solar radiation, the same radiation that would otherwise strip away an atmosphere over time. It needed Jupiter, sitting in exactly the right orbit, pulling in comets and asteroids that would have ended everything early. Remove any single piece, and you remove the conversation happening right now. Ward and Brownlee called this the rare Earth hypothesis. Not that life elsewhere is impossible, just that complex, observable technological life might demand a chain of coincidences so long it almost never finishes. Microbes might be common across the galaxy. Minds might be the rarest thing in it. So which is true? Is the universe quiet because intelligence is rare? Or is it quiet because intelligence destroys itself before it ever gets the chance to wave? Philosopher Nick Bostrom gave that second possibility a name. He called it the Great Filter. Somewhere between lifeless chemistry and a civilization capable of reaching the stars, something filters almost everyone out. Maybe the filter sits early. The leap from simple cells to complex ones took Earth nearly 2 billion years, and as far as anyone can tell, it may have only happened once in this planet's entire history. Maybe the filter sits late instead. Nuclear weapons, climate collapse, runaway artificial intelligence, 100 different ways for a clever species to end its own story right after it learns how to tell one. If the filter is behind you, you are the rare survivor of something close to impossible. If the filter is ahead of you, the silence in the sky isn't proof that no one else ever existed. It's a warning. Every quiet planet out there might once have had its own version of you, looking up, wondering the exact same thing. Here's the part that should unsettle you a little. Earth has been leaking radio signals into space for almost a century now. Faint, weak, scattered, but technically detectable across roughly 100 light-years in every direction. In a galaxy that stretches 100,000 light-years wide, that signal is a single match struck inside a stadium the size of a continent. Now imagine every other civilization that ever existed broadcasting for a similarly short window before falling silent, through extinction, through collapse, or simply by outgrowing radio for something quieter. For two civilizations to be shouting loud enough, at the same moment, close enough to hear each other, the timing has to line up almost perfectly. What are the odds of that? You may not be alone because no one else exists. You may be alone because timing is the cruelest filter of all. And yet, this is where the story bends back toward you. The same chain of impossible accidents that might make you rare is the very chain that made you possible at all. A wandering body roughly the size of Mars struck the early Earth and accidentally left behind a moon. An asteroid the size of a small city erased the dinosaurs and accidentally cleared the way for mammals to take over. A magnetic field, generated by a core that has been spinning since before there was anything alive to protect, has shielded every living thing on this planet for over 4 billion years without a single one of them ever noticing it was happening. None of it was designed. All of it was luck. And that luck kept compounding, generation after generation, until it produced something rare enough to eventually ask whether it was alone. Think about what that means for the version of you sitting here right now. The coffee going cold beside you, the notification you're ignoring, the ordinary day you're moving through without a second thought. None of it feels significant, but it's resting on top of a chain of cosmic coincidences so long and so fragile that statistically it may never have happened anywhere else in the observable universe. You are not a small thing living inside a big universe. You might be the entire reason the universe has anyone left to call it big. So the next time you look up at a sky full of stars, you can hold two ideas at once without either one canceling the other out. Maybe none of them are listening. And maybe that isn't the universe's failure at all. Maybe it's the universe's strangest miracle, quietly running its longest experiment through you. The unlikely planet that, against every single odd stacked against it, somehow got everything just right.